Good morning to you and welcome. Well, an early happy hour is what we're known for here, and I'm sure that you can attest to that.
Yeah,
because hey, if you've been tuning in all this while, it's no surprise that we're here for you, is it?
It's all about starting with a positive mood.
Absolutely.
And we do everything possible to stay positive with you all day, every day. And hopefully you got up on the right side of the bed this morning and you're starting with a positive mood with us.
Yeah, even if you got up on the wrong side, make it the right side. Good morning and welcome to a brand new week, a brand new show here. We have fresh out the oven type Monday edition here for you to help you take off this week.
It's the breakfast show that you want to be with every single morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And speaking of beautiful things,
Ooh, let's talk about her.
very looking.
She's all grown and you can kiss her in your backyard.
I don't know that song. Am I old enough to know that
It's
song?
Wyclef Jean.
Really?
They were singing about Mary,
Aww.
Auntie Mary.
Good morning. How you doing? It's
We're
a
doing
brand
good.
new week. March is one of my favorite months of the year, so I'm super chuffed, ready to face the week.
Absolutely, and you're dressed just right for it. Look at that Goldilocks hair.
Oh, really
The
now?
face.
Thank
You've got a
you.
face for television, Mary. I mean,
Thank
seriously.
you. Thank you.
Wow. Take a look at that, guys. Can we zoom in on her? Is it possible we can't?
No, Mazido, no.
Oh, Mary,
But I can say one thing.
she's jealous. She's jealous. She's jealous.
I was about to compliment her even more.
I'm joking.
Don't
I'm
step on my
joking.
complimenting Mary.
Go ahead, please. She needs
She
it
brightens up our kitchen like no other.
every single day.
No, really she does. And well, hey, we come on your screens with one mission and one mission only to give you a fantastic morning.
So thanks for being part of our morning. We are very, very glad. In fact, you don't know how much we appreciate the fact that you guys are here, just as much as we hope that you appreciate that we wake up early every single morning to do this for you. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilaya Oenisong. You can, of course, watch us live on GOTV channel 27 and UHF channel 49. If you would like to watch us online, you can download the app for TVC. It's free and available on Android and iOS.
Yes, follow us as well on social media at TVC Connect and send in your comments, please. We always love to read them. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. And then for some motivation, we have speaker and transformational coach Bright UK joining us to discuss leadership is not messiahship. Ooh, I like that one. The importance of self-care. Bright is known for inspirational or inspiring mental transformation through his Sixth Sense framework program, just so you know.
Right after that, we'll be checking out some highlights from the latest episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And then, coming up for a musical performance, we have Egbukichi Ugonna, popularly known as Ugo Classic. Now, he's a fast-rising Afrobeat act who can't wait to be on our stage here to perform his very, very interesting piece.
And finally, we'll be having on SME the CEO of 2828 Insights Fashion, Lucy Neoma, joining us. Now, she's going to be here to share her fashion story about her fashion brand. It's all about Ankara prints and fine leather.
Well, good morning and welcome. What a weekend it was. First off, I wanted to start off. I know we have plenty to say. I'll try and cover it in the... Yeah, I'm wasting time. Listen, yesterday I was very, very impressed to see something happen. A little boy came up to me at the mall and then grabbed me. I was reading my receipts to make sure I wasn't scammed. And then there was this little person. Yeah, there was this little person who...
What happened if you
I'll go back and cause, mayhem. But this little person grabs me, smiling up at me, beaming with his face. And I'm like, what's going on? I looked up and I saw his mother, grandmother, and little sister. And I said to his mother, I'm sorry, I'm not the father, am I? I'm joking. That's what I said, I don't understand what's going on. And then she smiles at me and says, he's a fan.
Oh.
So I just wanted to shout out to Kamsi. I hope he's watching, or at least his mother can tell him that I said, thank you very much. That was the high point of my day. Next to LUB. Hey, did you guys see that? I'm talking about Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was, where do we even start, Chow? But our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers.
That's even worse.
That's the height of weekend.
That's even
They're
worse.
laughing. People are.
I know.
People could have given up. You know
People didn't go home. People
Do
didn't
you know
go
what
home.
happened to me
Our
yesterday?
hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers.
Wow.
Our deep condolences to you. Manchester United fans. Because some people in their lives, the last time Man U lost by that much match was 92 years ago.
Yeah.
92.
So, except you're a Man U fan that has been supporting them for over 90 years, you've never seen that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody alive has seen them lose that bad.
So yesterday, I saw the match start, but I didn't really pay attention.
Wow.
So I saw the first goal, but I was like, oh, 1-0. Ah, okay. There might be a draw or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It was at this
And the
point
next
that
thing-
she realized.
My show, I was on radio now, so I
Okay.
couldn't really focus on it. And then the next thing, I just saw 4-0.
Wow.
I said, maybe it's an old match. Maybe they were playing rerun of something again. Because they say Man U is in form. Liverpool is not in form. Okay, now, next thing, I looked up again and saw FT, that's full time. 7-0.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No,
They messed up my show for me yesterday. You know why?
Wow.
I was talking about something serious, so understanding, partner, and everything.
Wow.
And then I'll just go. And then, you're listening to Mary Alimio.
So you know what happens?
And that was what I did to the end of the show.
So you see, my heart goes out to Imagination,
wow.
Aji,
Wow.
Sammy,
Wow.
who damn it,
Dion.
Dion.
MC advice.
MC advice.
So I don't
Advise yourself out of that club.
I don't know if they'll be coming to work today.
Dion was at work yesterday. He locked himself up.
We need to give them leave, 1 day leave.
Yeah, at
2
least.
days, like 2
Yeah.
days. Because this is terrible. We need to give them like. And by the way, the social media, it was coming out that the results, they should check that the results were not real. They've been doctored. That the real match has not been played. They're taking it to the tribunal.
The referee gave 3 minutes extra for the eighth one. I'll be
At this point,
1.
Imagination, courageous man. He's already here this morning.
Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashwa Alimi. Now, days after receiving a certificate of return from INEC in Abuja, the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is in Lagos and has paid homage to the Oba of Lagos, Rilwan Akiolu. At the palace, Oba Akiolu appealed to Lagos residents to vote Babajide Sanwo-Olu in the upcoming governorship election for a second term. Senior correspondent Adedoja Salam Adeni tells us more.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is back with a highly sought-after crown that comes with a great responsibility. The president-elect was welcomed by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and other All Progressives Congress chieftains at the presidential wing of the Muritala Muhammad Airport. All roads then lead to Iga Idugoran, the palace of the Oba of Lagos. At Iga, chiefs and well-wishers cluster around one of their own. For the Oba of Lagos, this is a moment to be proud of. A Lagosian is now the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Asiwaju used the opportunity to appreciate Lagosians for their support. After rains of prayer, the Oba presented the president-elect with Al-Quran as his guardian and a prayer mat.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu polled 8.7 million votes to beat 17 other contestants to be declared the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Adedoja Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
Outside Nigeria, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has asked for forgiveness from the families of 57 victims of this week's train crash. Protests have continued for days. Clashes with police were reported on Sunday as thousands joined the demonstration in the capital, Athens. Police estimated 12,000 people attended the protests. Some demonstrators set fire to rubbish bins and threw petrol bombs as police responded, firing tear gas and stun grenades, clearing the central Syntagma square of the protesters. The train crash has been widely attributed to human error. Earlier this week, a 54-year-old station master in Larissa was charged with manslaughter by negligence and is due to appear in court. His lawyer, Stefanos Pansadadis, said the station master had admitted to having a share of responsibility in the accident. Well, that's it on the news update for the Sound Wake Up Nigeria. There is so much more to come. Just stay with us.
Well, good morning and welcome. It's time to let you know what you'd find inside of the dailies if you picked one up this morning. And for this morning, we're going to be starting from the Nation newspaper. Let's begin with the headline that meets you. First off is Tinubu's pledge to Nigerians, I will not disappoint you. My certificate of return is a World Cup trophy, President-elect says in Lagos. At the top of the Nation this morning, obey Supreme Court judgment on Naira Now, Lagos giants tell Buhari, and PDP leaders to picket INEC office over poll results. Rainstorm destroys 105 houses in Ekiti community. At the bottom of the paper, these headlines meet you. Nigeria's debt hits 50 trillion naira and parties align ahead of Saturday's governorship polls. Let's move on now to our next daily for a Monday morning here. And of course, that is the Punch newspaper. First headline in rubrics presidential poll, PDP governors leaders to protest at INEC today. PDP insists election flawed, APC urges peaceful demonstrations. Residents fear onset, hoodlums hijack police promise protection. At the top for the Punch newspaper, Akpabio, Kalu, others begin battle for Senate presidency. Fuel FX subsidies removal will save FG 10 trillion naira, say report, and observers demand Rex prosecution for alleged sabotage. That on page 42. At the bottom of the paper, or rather to the side of the photo story here, prepare for severe flooding. NEMA warns Nigerians. Here now. And soldiers shoot 15-year-old boy, Keke operator dead in Lagos. The photo story shows Tinubu's visit to the Oba's Palace. Oba Akiolu promises not to disappoint Nigerians. And that's as much as we can take for the Punch newspaper. Let's move on now to our next and last daily for this morning. That will be the Guardian newspaper for a Monday. E-payment channels fail stress test despite banks' 901 billion naira profit. Tell us about that. No respite for apps USSD platforms as failure reaches peak after 100 billion investment. Concerns as hackers swipe a 2.9 billion naira from fintech firm. An attack raises concern over safety of digital-first banks. Telecoms operators absolve themselves of banking crisis, and NIBSS keeps mum on rate of e-payment transactions failures. Experts task financial institutions on secure e-payment space. At the top of The Guardian, 2023 elections allow legal process take course. U.S. government urges Nigeria. Boko Haram abducts 7 villagers in Borno. Obaseki accuses Oshiomhole of impeachment plot. And my life still under threat, says Rivers coalition officer as he cries out. And that's as much as we can take for the dailies generally this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Do stay tuned. We've got a very exciting topic inside for What's Up and About. Do stay tuned. And you're welcome.
Yeah.
What's Up and About?
Good morning. In fact, What's Up and About, just this morning as I was getting ready to leave the house, the TV was on just randomly, and Chris Rock pops up in an ad of a Netflix live event, and I didn't understand what it meant, but apparently he had been planning this comeback to stand-up comedy, and he came in with a bang. He went for everyone and everything, and
pretty much not mostly everyone, but one particular individual in to be specific.
I watched at least 30 minutes of him going for everyone else before that happened. But he was building up to it little by little. It did feel a little...
vitriolic? expressive?
Chris Rock has always been one of those very, very honest, a bit too honest comedians, and he got slapped for it. You know, a bit too. But it felt like he was saying what everybody else wished they could say, but would never actually voice. But I don't know if he's going to get the positive reviews he was hoping for.
He's going to get, who cares about positive? He's going to get the cash.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I thought about that.
Yeah.
First off, it was the first time Netflix was doing a live, so
Yeah.
it was really big. There had been a build-up, 90 days of him touring, up until that one show. And when he did, he delivered. The first 50 minutes of it, pretty much, I wasn't really laughing ha-ha about it, but there were some very nice quips and targets at, different rappers, because he doesn't want to get slapped by another rapper again, as he continually said, as he built up to the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes of that live, oh my goodness, was dedicated to Will Smith and his wife. It was like everything, like you said, people had always wanted to say, but officially this time somebody put in a stamp on it. And no other person could do it better than Chris Rock, who had a stamp on his face initially anyhow. I mean, those first set of Fresh Prince, they're not going anyplace. He was absolutely out for revenge. And I think after last weekend, Will Smith's career is perhaps done. I don't think he's going to get paid for another movie as big as he ever has. I think Emancipation might be his last big effort. I think his career is perhaps going to halt. And I love the way he came out as yet not being a victim. I'm not a victim, he said. I'm not going to go cry on Oprah. No, I took that slap and I'm still standing. And he gave reasons why he didn't fight back. Because he's got parents who told him not to fight in front of white people. It was fantastic. It was on point. And dropping the mic at the end was, not this mic, was just classic.
Wow.
Mary has a different view, however.
Mary.
I want Mike to say his own thing.
Mike.
This was something that just distracted me. But let's focus here. So, I've not listened to it fully. So I'll get to that point where you spoke about. But I got the part where he said something like he went to watch Emancipation because he just went to see Will
Get beat.
Get beat. And that one, that's a movie, yeah. Maybe they slapped you on top stage for real. That's a movie.
Yeah.
He could have. I mean, did you see? Have you seen the making for John Wick?
Yeah.
You'd see a good, when you see some very good choreographers.
Yeah.
I know people take punches even in movies, but you can see very good choreographers. Nobody took one punch,
Yeah.
and you watch it on screen,
You think
and they blood it
He
up.
just helped give
You understand?
more,
Nobody thought nobody.
he
When
helped
it's very
drive traffic
professional.
to
So
the
for me,
movie.
For me, I don't know
Yeah.
that part, but I would watch it, complete it. But I would say I like the part where he said, "Look, I took it standing," and I like the part. If he had pushed pushed charges, he would have. I mean, this was.
He would have made
The
it.
Oscars this year are saying that there's going to be an what do you call it now?
anti-bullying.
Bullying, race,
there's in the
violence
show,
now.
There'll be crisis,
A
anti-crisis, or
committee
unit.
set just for crisis.
That's never happened before. But
Yeah, so what's the crisis supposed to do?
Just in case anything,
Somebody apologized to you for talking about his wife. Yes, it's comedy and all that.
Yeah.
But he apologized. You refused to see him. You now say this is revenge.
Wait, I mean,
didn't say it was revenge. I tagged the revenge.
But revenge with about $58 million is some sweet revenge.
Good for him. But
know.
you guess what?
Sweet.
The world has moved on. And
No, we
about to
haven't.
move on.
It's 1 year after.
1 year.
See, listen, we haven't.
He had to wait 1 year to get $58 million.
I think it was justification. I think it was worth it. I think, hey, hurrah, hurrah. Thank you very much, Chris Rock. I was a Will Smith fan, but unfortunately, that occurrence
I
from
am
last
still a Will Smith fan.
year. Not absolutely.
No.
You know what?
You guys, tell us what you think, okay? We'd like to hear. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Let's know what you thought about the whole situation. Alopecia.
For some motivation on Wake Up Nigeria this morning, we have speaker and transformational coach Bright UK joining us to discuss leadership is not messiahship. Note that. Well, the importance of self-care being the focus, of course. Now, Bright is known for inspiring mental transformation through his Sixth Sense Framework program, and it's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so leadership is not messiahship.
At all.
The importance of self-care.
Yeah.
That is as simple as it sounds, is quite broad.
Yeah, it is.
But let's talk about leadership itself, okay? Then we talk about messiahship, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about how one doesn't mean the other.
Okay.
So let's start with leadership.
So basically, I define leadership as becoming who you are made to be. In other words, growing into your best self, your best expression, so that you can inspire and influence others to become their best self, the best version of themselves, right? So doing that means that by the time you get into inspire and influence them, you're going to also have to help them to get there, which means you have to serve them. You have to add value to them.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's basically what leadership is. Leadership means you are inspiring them, okay, you are activating the potentials in them. They're saying, okay, I want to become like you. I want to be like you. And so you're telling them, okay, this is the way to go about it. And you serve them one way or the other. You're adding value to them until you're able to take them from where they are to where they ought to be. That's what leadership basically is about.
Messiahship then.
Messiahship. Messiahship is dying for others. Literally living your life and dying for others. I mean that's what Jesus did. Jesus Christ lived. He died for us, right? But if you think as a leader, you have to be a Messiah, then prepare for a premature death. You know, without even fulfilling, you might not fulfill purpose.
In
like
what
Jesus
ways
did.
will you say a leader is acting like a messiah? Because, you know, it's actually a very thin line. There are
Yeah.
some leaders who go out of their way to make sure everything
Yes.
works well.
Yes,
But
yeah.
then there are those that fit into that messiahship. How can you as a leader know that you have crossed that line and you're now acting like a messiah, like a savior?
Okay, so generally, why people misconstrue both is because leadership involves sacrifice, right? And there is really no way you can demonstrate love without sacrifice. The real problem is when we do not put a boundary on the sacrifice that we are actually making, you know, in order to achieve the purpose for what we want. Actually, where to draw the line is to know exactly what you want, right? You should have strategic objectives that you are pursuing. Your sacrifice should enable the achievement of your objectives, right? The moment it begins to inhibit that, then there is a problem, all right? Because parents sacrifice for their children, workers sacrifice for their bosses and companies, pastors sacrifice for their members, you know, firstborns sacrifice for their siblings, and on. The examples are replete everywhere, right? But the problem is this: when they're sacrificing, there are usually some rationalizations that is going on, right? And those rationalizations are not necessarily, they are not necessarily resolved. And this is what I mean. Sometimes people think if I sacrifice for someone, they would sacrifice for me.
Doesn't
Right?
work that way.
It doesn't often work that way. I mean, sometimes it's also the extent of the sacrifice, right? Generally, everybody, all of us as human beings, one basic law of human behavior is that we are all selfish. We all look for our own interests.
Yeah.
So when you are sacrificing for others, people think that you are just doing your thing. All right? For them, how they get to solve their problems is their own business. Whether they use you in the process to solve their problems, then they feel they've gotten what they want. So when people think, oh, if I sacrifice for others, they will sacrifice for me, and eventually people do not, the people who they've sacrificed for do not reciprocate the energy. It's painful.
But
It's
if you do
depressing.
not sacrifice, you cannot know who will reciprocate the energy.
Oh, yes.
On the one hand. On the other
yes.
hand, we also have to look at the fact that, just as I asked you about how you can know that you have finally crossed that line, you also have to look at the fact that as a leader, you're supposed to be a servant as well.
Yes, you ought to be a
So
servant.
you need to serve.
Oh, yes.
To be served.
Yes.
Literally. So even as you're serving, like,
Yes.
how can you know that, all right, I've gone from service and sacrifices to actually overdoing it? Because when you're talking about messiahship, I believe you mean overdoing it
Yes,
to the
yes.
point that you're not even caring about yourself,
Yes.
because that's why you're referring to the importance of self-care, I believe.
Oh, yes. So there are symptoms to these things. Number one, you begin to see that you are being stressed beyond your capacity. All right? You're feeling stress. You're feeling burnout. All right? You're not getting the reciprocity that you really would want to see to complete the cycle of love. Sometimes, maybe not every time, but sometimes, and this is usually where the wake-up comes, you begin to see elements of bitterness. all right, and resentment. That's something that begins to manifest. Oh, I did this for this person. Now it's time for this person to just give me just a bit. And then before you know it, there's an ancient story in the time of the ancient kings of Israel. Let me tell you this story. There was a famine, and then a lady said to the king, "Sir, I and my colleague, we agreed that we will kill and eat my child today, and the next day we will eat her own." And she agreed to that, negotiation. They killed and they ate the first woman's child. The very next day, the second woman hid her own child. Wow. When the king had it, he couldn't even resolve the situation. He was just, it was just
very
depressed,
unfortunate
right?
situation,
But
yeah.
that's really what happens. People do not, when they do not place a boundary over what they can give, their giving capacity, they go over and beyond themselves to give what they could not afford to give. You see, people don't get it. There are certain things you cannot afford to give. The moment the request, the demand of others to begin to encroach into that. And it doesn't even matter what their requests or their demands are. What really matters is you, because it is your own responsibility to set the necessary boundaries to say, I can and I can't.
You know what, Bright? This has been a very interesting conversation. And I like the fact that you're really explained in detail when you need to stop, when you need to pull the reins and say, I'm overdoing it. And especially, you've also highlighted why you need to care about yourself so that you do not become bitter or resentful and all the works. Really, I could continue this conversation for the next 10 minutes. However, right now, we have to head straight to the kitchen. Thank you so much for your time, Bright UK. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
And of course, at this point, we will check out what TT and the chef have been up to.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. It's a Monday, and we've decided to have Leah Chops join us this morning. She's here to make something special. Welcome back.
Good morning.
All right, so this is an interesting array of ingredients. What are we making today?
We are making shawarma spring rolls.
Shawarma spring rolls.
Yeah.
This feels like a combination of two things a lot of people like. How you're going to combine them is what I have no idea. But before we get into that, let's talk ingredients. What do we have on display here?
Okay, we have our milk.
Okay.
We have our dough for the wrap. We have cabbage, shredded carrots. We have our chicken, boneless chicken. And we have our spring onions. We have our Greek yogurt. The cooking oil for frying, and we have our sauce.
Okay.
Sauce, then flour.
So we have salt, garlic, ginger, carrot, yogurt, cabbage, soy sauce, coriander, seasoning, sesame oil, chili pepper, lemon juice, and of course black pepper, vegetable oil has to be part of this. Onion powder is also a part of this. Boneless chicken. When we have ingredients like this, you know that it's going to be a very interesting, balanced kind of meal. Leah Chops, are you ready to start?
Yes.
Are you ready to get going?
Ready.
All right, so what do we start with first? Because I know that there are two different things happening here.
Yeah.
There's the shawarma aspect and there's the spring roll aspect. Which do we start with?
So we'll be marinating our chicken first.
So the shawarma aspect first.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So this chicken, let's talk a bit about the chicken and begin the marinating process. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The chicken has been shredded already.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so we are adding our spices. We have our mixed spices.
Go ahead. The mixed spices you're talking about.
Yeah, it contains the coriander, the cinnamon,
Okay.
then clove.
Coriander, cinnamon, and cloves.
Yeah.
We have quite a lot of other spices here.
Yes, we have our chili pepper.
It is just the dry red pepper that we're used to, right?
Then we have our black pepper.
Okay. All right, black pepper.
We have our seasoning.
So like a seasoning cube seasoning, yes?
Yeah, this chicken seasoning.
Okay.
Then we have beef, we have fish.
Okay,
So
of
this is
course.
for chicken.
All right.
So we are adding our Greek yogurt and lemon.
Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Interesting. Lemon juice, did you squeeze this yourself?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Lemon juice, a tablespoon of lemon juice going in now. 2 tablespoons. And then some Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to be counting how many crepes we're about to make. Leah Chops is about to show us her process of making crepes. We're making shawarma spring roll. We're still trying to figure out how that's going to work, but she's here to show us. We've done quite a bit while we were away. The vegetables have been lightly stir-fried with some black pepper. Nothing else, right?
Salt. Pinch of salt.
A pinch of salt, okay? And of course, the chicken was marinated with Greek yogurt and spices. Now to the crepe.
Yeah.
What do we have here for the crepe?
We have the milk, we have the flour, and the egg.
Okay, so wet into dry, dry into wet. Which one are we doing now?
We'll do dry into wet.
Dry into wet. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. The measurements, go ahead. The measurements I can see here is it's less than a cup of flour here.
Yes.
It's not up to a cup. This milk is condensed milk, right?
No.
Evaporated milk. So it's no sugar in there
There's
at
sugar.
all. Then, of course, 2 eggs. So it's quite a simple process. Just add your flour, your eggs, and your milk. Beautiful. Is it a special type of flour or
No, the normal.
simple white
Yeah.
flour? Fantastic. So when you make spring rolls, there's a special kind of dough that's
Yeah.
and when you make crepes, you make like a batter.
Yes. For the dough for the spring rolls,
Yeah.
it's just flour and water and pinch of salt.
Okay.
There is no sugar. There is no
Yeah. Go ahead.
salt or like that. But for this, we have egg, we have milk and sugar.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Can I stop you there for a second? Let me see if I can help you do that. I want to help out with that process so that it'll be a bit faster. I know that there's still something else we need to do.
We're adding water.
We're adding some water. All right, let's do this. Gotcha. So that water is just about a cup of water?
No,
Half a cup of water. What are we trying to look out for while we mix this?
for you running. It's different from the dough.
Yeah.
This one is going to be very light because it's crepe, so it's different. Sha.
All right, fantastic. Fabulous. All right, so I'm helping out in the kitchen here. The mixing is going on. We're gonna make this as quick as possible, but we have to take another quick break. There's still so much more coming your way right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Rain or shine, we are gonna be showing up with you bright and early to give you the bright start you need.
Absolutely, that's right. Welcome to the second hour. If you missed the first one, this one is designed for you latecomers. No, it's okay. We know, we understand. You had a very late night yesterday, didn't you? You got up late for work. Well, it's all good. Or maybe you work from home. This is where you get to set your timepieces too for the next 45 minutes. It's designed accurately just for your type of day.
No matter what time you wake up in the morning, we're not judging. We're here to serve you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And the show is just getting started.
Absolutely.
We have quite a lot still happening in the kitchen, and I'm hoping that the whole process is speeding along, because I know that this combo of shawarma and spring roll together, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Exactly. So I asked her, what are we having? She said shawarma,
Spring
spring
roll.
roll shawarma, and I'm like, you know one thing that caught my eye?
What?
You know all those napkins, the baby napkins you get, and you wonder what you use it for. It's never struck me that there are other uses like this.
Wow, interesting.
Oh, that's something I just learned.
But hey, see what she's doing. Yes.
Yeah.
So she's really busy
nice.
with getting the roll ready there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. As a young...
Ooh. That's the spring roll batter
Yes,
that she
yes,
rubbed on
so
the pan
she's-
there.
Put it in
Nice.
As a young man, I had other uses for those nappies, but it's okay. Let's proceed now with the rest of the show. My name is Mazina Appeal. I'm sorry.
You better be sorry. It's a breakfast show. My name is Titilayo Oyinso. Of course, on GOTV channel 27, you can catch us there live, or indeed on UHF channel 49. You can, of course, watch us as well on our app. It's available for free on Android and iOS.
Remember, also, you can follow us across the social media platforms. We are at TVC Connect, all of them. And use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC when you send a message. We always used to track those with that.
Shortly, we will be giving you some highlights from the one and only Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We can't wait for that to come up. We use it to test ourselves once in a while on the show.
Fast rising Afrobeats act Ugo Classic will be with us. He's going to be performing a very interesting piece. If you stick around, you get to catch that.
And for SME, we have the CEO of 2828 Insights Fashion, Lucy Neoma. We're going to be here to discuss quite a bit more about her fashion brand and how they infuse Ankara prints with fine leather for fashionable bags, belts, and much more.
This is one interview I'm going to be paying attention to
Yeah.
because this is actually something that I hope to do someday.
Really?
Yeah, I've always loved
Leather work.
crafts. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, you like leather too, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, I
When-
do.
It's
when-
a
Mad.
simple question. You had no reason to read any meaning to it.
But there's a conversation Mazina wants to have, and it kind of links with how Mike's counting skills have been, you know. so
You mean
enhanced
the
today.
Liverpool versus mine? Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
So he counted all the way to 7, and 7 is, you know, somehow involved in what you're.
Our 7 kids. Remember
7
the count from
children?
Sesame Street? Mike, what was that story again?
No, it was how this guy who says he has 7 kids from 7 different baby mamas, and how he actually made some points about how he's not involved in any of our lives and he doesn't want to be because he gave out some kind of disclaimer. I don't know when. Maybe if it was after they had gotten pregnant and said he wanted them to abort the babies. But he says, look, I was just having fun. I don't want to. Do I look like someone who wants to be a father and all of that?
7 times.
Yeah, and so the
See,
question now goes
because-
to the woman and goes to the ladies and like, why would you have a, one-off or something as it were, and why would you want to birth a kid
Place
to
all
this
that
world
responsibility on a man who...
on someone? I know, it brings up so many parts.
7 is a very divine number.
See, I mean, I can get away with saying this in French. Il est fou. You see, some people think that they can, they can eat their cake and have it.
Yeah.
If you're going to eat your cake, use
Prophylactic.
And not 10
If
fingers.
you use your fingers,
Yes,
your bare
yes.
fingers, you will pay.
Who will
You
pay?
will pay. Look, let me tell you
no.
something.
7
He
times.
lives in an economy, a country that demands that he pays childcare. So all those money is doing, those money for
Childcare,
himself.
but for the lady, a lot of would have gone out. Her life, she has to pause her life. There's a lot just for some few minutes of
She's a
fun.
woman that wants to pause
And my
her
points are
life.
why. I think as much as it's irresponsible from him, but I think that women should take more responsibility in such regard because they are the ones that will bear, the brunt or the most of the work.
I think
There's so much truth in
it's
that.
irresponsibility if it happens 3 times, if it is 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not just irresponsibility, it's criminal. I feel like he should
7
be
children,
charged.
7 women.
Honestly,
For me, I think-
really, you don't let something like that happen 7
The
times.
argument that the argument is being had itself is rather moot for me because I don't think that it should be had. First off, the topic on the irresponsibility of the entire concept. Note that he didn't say that these 7 times were the only times that they rode bear.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's myriad.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about the health, your health, the persons you're putting in,
You remember what I
the
said
person you're putting
earlier?
at risk,
STDs.
the health of the children that you might be bringing on if you've gotten any complications from before. So
That's him. But I'm
7
thinking,
times.
How do you?
How come he's
for
still
the
free?
lady,
How come he hasn't
how
been
do you see
arrested?
somebody who's that randy, who's that?
and then you still
Yes, who is that
offer yourself up.
irresponsible?
So women
Because
have
those
issues.
kind of things
There
show.
are some women that believe,
And-
maybe I'm the one.
Oh, God.
You are the one, second baby mama. You are the one, third baby mama. You are the one. What are you
Like
the
you
one
said,
for again?
I feel
What?
for the kids. They are the ones that will
Yeah,
not have to
Yes,
tackle all
the
of this.
children are the ones that will suffer it. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
I keep saying it's divine. Why? Because those children had to come to this earth somehow. God has a plan for those children.
So it's God's plan.
God's plan.
Drake, you did not sing that one. well
God's
in this
plan.
regard. Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. Now, days after receiving a certificate of return from INEC in Abuja, the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is in Lagos and has paid homage to the Oba of Lagos, Real One Akiolu. At the palace, Oba Akiolu appealed to Lagos residents to vote Babajide Sanwo-Olu in the upcoming governorship election for a second term. Senior correspondent Adedoja Salam Adeniyi tells us more.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is back with a highly sought-after crown that comes with a great responsibility. The president-elect was welcomed by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and other All Progressives Congress chieftains at the presidential wing of the Murtala Muhammad Airport. All roads then lead to Iga Idugoran, the palace of the Oba of Lagos. At Iga, chiefs and well-wishers cluster around one of their own. For the Oba of Lagos, this is a moment to be proud of. A Lagosian is now the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Asiwaju used the opportunity to appreciate Lagosians for their support. After rains of prayer, the Oba presented the president-elect with Al-Quran as his guardian and a prayer mat.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu polled 8.7 million votes to beat 17 other contestants to be declared the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Adedoja Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
Outside Nigeria, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has asked for forgiveness from the families of the 57 victims of the train crash which recently took place. Protests have continued for days. Clashes with police were reported on Sunday as thousands joined the demonstration in the capital, Athens. Police estimated 12,000 people attended the protest. Some demonstrators set fire to rubbish bins and threw petrol bombs as police responded, firing tear gas and stun grenades. Clearing the central Syntagma square of the protesters, the train crash has been widely attributed to human error. A 59-year-old station master in Larissa was charged with manslaughter by negligence and is due to appear in court. His lawyer, Stefanos Panzatidis, said the station manager had admitted to having a share of responsibility in the accident. And that's it on the news update for today on Wake Up Nigeria. There is so much more to come. Just stay with us.
150,000 naira. Used 50-50. You're left with Lake Superior and Lake Baikal. And he decided to go on a leap of faith and choose Lake Baikal. Well, the answer to the question, Lake Superior, was actually the right answer. I'm sorry. Lake Baikal wasn't the answer. It was Lake Superior. I'm very, very sorry. Lake Superior is the largest, cleanest, and wildest of all the Great Lakes. It is the biggest lake in the world. And it is also nicknamed the Freshwater Sea.
Oh, that was...
It's a shared despondency in the contestant's
cold
face. And he kind of like squeezed the juice out of that one.
Yeah.
He did that last time.
So, you know, I feel like as an anchor, that sometimes happens when you've been trying to give the guest a hint. You've been hinting. You've been trying to even help, and the person is stubborn.
I've never seen you flip out on anybody here.
No,
before.
really. Well, sometimes.
But we should explain that. Those were highlights from the entire season for the past 1 year. I think as the show rounds off on its first season there, that was what Who Wants to Be a Millionaire from yesterday was all about. It was very interesting to see the potpourri of guests that have been on the show from since, and I've enjoyed plenty of them actually. But I've always thought to myself that there could be maybe one or two more factors that could change for the next season when they're coming back and if they're coming back. I'd like to see a bit more involvement by the contestants or the participants, people who are already knowledgeable broadly about things and affairs.
And I was watching,
captains of industry do it.
I was watching the British version. Man, there was this particular guy. He went up to question 11. He had not used the lifeline.
Wow.
That's an entertainment session.
He wasn't. There were a lot of times. Sometimes he was giving straight answers, and sometimes his deduction was. I just sat there and said, "Oh boy, you never sabi, you don't sabi anything." That's his deduction was top notch. Then he got to one particular question and used like 3 or almost all the lifelines. It happens like that.
Yeah.
You know, but
when it counts.
When you are, that's the thing. Much more than just the knowing. When you can deduce, when you can. How do you put it now? When you can deduct, when you can analyze, when you understand the root meaning of words.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at that question on Upper Lake region. I thought it was because I was thinking of Upper Volta, I was thinking of Benin and Ghana.
Yeah.
But then there's a Greater Lake, pardon me, that's Tanzania. And if you knew Tanzania, you'd easily get that answer.
But I don't. I have not.
Last night, I was asking a question on the show, and I remember saying that the answer to this question is
in the question.
It's actually the question,
itself.
like the savior.
Okay.
And in Spanish, and then the person, I was like, this is something you see in movies all the time.
Yeah.
And it was El Salvador.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yes, no.
Yeah.
El Salvador.
Yes. Salvador is the savior.
Nice.
So you just have to be really worldly, knowledgeable in so many different areas. And if you're not, it might be a wake-up call for you to start doing something.
It's too late if you're that old and you don't know nothing.
No, you can still pick up a book.
And you're welcome. It's time for our SME segment here, and we have with us today CEO of 2828 Inside Fashion, Lucy Nyoma. She's joining us here today, and she'll be here to tell us about her fashion enterprise and brand and how they blend Ankara prints and the fine leather to make fashionable bags and wallets and belts, and you can see them all here. It's fantastic. Nyoma, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Such a simple woman, but such beautiful talent. Wow, I've manhandled everything here before the show started because I couldn't keep my hands off of it, from that little mini bag for your kids to this one, which she's not going home with. And it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Now, tell us about your operation 2828. Well, when did you guys get started?
Actually, in 2019, I started in 2019 and fully.
Okay.
Well, prior to that time, I had been learning. I'd gone to different training, institutions to learn how to make all these.
So I like that you actually started with that. You had to get training first to get here. Yes. Since 2019 up until now, that's kind of like almost like 4 years. Let's just say 3 years. But you have managed to hone your skill and put together these very beautiful crafts. Now, since then, have you been operating just by yourself, or do you have people who work with you?
Actually have 2 people full-time that work with me. Then I have apprentices. Those ones come from, time to time, like 6 months, they come for a program.
Okay.
When they get trained,
you train now?
Yes, I train. I've trained a number of people since.
That's grand. Now, what we do here on this segment is try to encourage people to actually use their hands, their craft, to be able to make an income for themselves. And you are a grand example of that. In less than 4 years, you've trained and you're putting out product and also training people as well. Yeah. What is the income like for you and the market? How do people embrace your products? Is it easy for you to sell it out there?
It has actually been, initially it was not.
Okay.
It wasn't. You needed to get customers, you needed to make people to trust you.
How did you manage
to understand
that?
When I started to get trained, I was actually working. I was working in a paid employment. So I started with my own colleagues. My own colleagues there. When I made samples.
Where were you working before?
With an internet service provider.
Okay.
As a corporate salesperson. So I started with my colleagues. I started to show them, I can make this now. And then I made samples. I You know, I actually gave it to them at discounted prices, and they were like, wow, you really made this? So my colleagues were actually my first customers then.
Nice. It's always good to start around your
Yes.
network now, isn't it?
My family as well.
Yeah, I want to, like I said, I had manhandled it from before. We're actually showing a few samples on TV right now of other products that you've made that are not here in studio. Look at that beautiful leather. What they call these slip-ons?
Yes, slip-ons.
Actually very nice.
Simple, yeah.
Now, you had to, after starting with colleagues and the rest, now push further than that. How did you
Definitely.
cross that bridge? How did you break through that border?
I started getting referrals from referrals from those my colleagues, and then I went online as well. I started to use social media. I started to post things instead of just posting, you know, random gist and all that. I started to post my products, and people are like, oh, really? Are you sure you made this? Then some other customers I had while working, you know, I revisited those places. And
did you know I can do this? She said to them, and they said,
Yes.
wow.
They were really surprised. Oh, you really made this, or did you buy and sell? I said, no. I go to the markets, I get the materials, I get back, I cut them, you know.
We're going to talk about your source for material and how long it takes you to put these together, but I just wanted to showcase this very fine product here. I don't know if we have a camera that can see this. Now, this is really, it's cloth, yeah?
Yes.
Is there leather under it?
Yes.
There's leather under it.
This one, I use
If I was on holiday and I saw this in a store, and my wife said, get that for me, I can imagine how much I'd be spending buying this for her outside of Nigeria. But here it is, and it's so beautiful. So that's cloth.
Yes, it is.
Now, the mixture of cloth into your product, is that your idea, or did you train for this as well, or did you develop it after?
I trained for it as well.
Trained for it
Yes,
as well.
I've trained in about 4 different places altogether.
Yeah.
Some places, Ankara.
Oh,
and
the different
some other-
places,
yes.
different expertise.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's not the only one here that's just cloth. There's a lunchbox there which you've designed with the Avengers. The kids are really going to love. I mean, look at that. I mean, Rain would love that, actually. That's just beautiful. It's grand. And then I'm attracted as well. I'm saving the best for last. I'm getting to that one. I'm going to tell you guys about that one. But this is a backpack, and it is it's so original. Yeah. It's Nigerian, let's just put it so. It's so, I mean, you also have different classes all in your products, from the kids to mommy going out to the Owambe party, lunch for the kids. This could be a school bag, or that urban wokeness type person who wants to go about being really original and woke. And then let's talk about the final piece, which is designed for me and my portmanteau.
Exactly.
This product right here. Can we zoom in? This, I want to lick it. It's so chocolatey goodness. Can I lick it? Now, let's start talking about the pricing. For something as beautiful, well-crafted, and well-made as this, how much would it go for?
You don't need to
I don't need to.
unbuckle, yes.
Oh, look
And
at
just
that.
unlock
That's just
it.
beautiful. Oh, there you go. Easy to enter. Oh, wow. There's so much more in here. I don't know if it comes with
belt as well.
That's a belt.
Yes,
So
that's
this
the
is an
belt
entire
casing.
package or what?
That's the belt casing. No,
The belt
that's-
casing,
yes,
okay.
for a belt.
And then we've got myriads of wallets and stuff like that. So something like this design would go for how much?
For this, it's 28,000.
28,000.
Yes.
Now, if these are being purchased for 28,000, your material, which you've sourced from local markets and all, how much would you make as profit at the end of the day is my question, because it is rather affordable.
Yes.
I'm thinking if this was in a store with a brand name and everything, it would be much more than that.
Much more
But
high.
here it's only 28,000. So what's your profit like on each material, on each product rather?
It actually depends on the products. The profit I'll make from a lunch bag is definitely going to be different from the margin of the profits I'm going to make on this kind of a bag. So for this lunch bag, I make about 8,000 naira on it. I can actually make this in bulk for the lunch bags. But for this, it takes precision, it takes time, it takes cutting of all the small pieces and joining together. So it takes about a whole day to put it.
A day is okay.
A whole day to put it together.
Wow.
It's genuine leather, inside and outside. I
That's
line
grand.
the inside with the black leather and then the outside with chocolate.
Now, you've already given us a hint, but if I have an inclination to actually put things together like this, how long will it take me to set myself up? And how much will it take me to set myself up to begin this kind of craft making?
Okay, to set yourself, for how long, for if you're a beginner, it could take you like 3 phases. Like the beginner's phase, you learn to use the machine, you understand about the cuttings of patterns.
So you use machines, actually?
Yes, I do.
Special dedicated machines, which I'll have to purchase after.
Yeah, afterwards, exactly. You have to purchase that afterwards. Then you, for a beginner, you can take about, within 10 weeks, you'll be very good at what you do, except you just came to play. Otherwise, you'll really be very good at what you do for 10 weeks. And then afterward, you go to the advanced stage where you can make things like this, even more complicated, you know, bags and all.
What about the machines? How much do they cost?
As of yesterday, one of the machines was, as of yesterday, was 250.
250,000?
250, yes.
If I make 10 of these.
You have a manual. No, you can actually start using the manual machine actually.
Oh.
That's less than, just about 70,000 naira.
Okay.
To get that, it's just about 70,000 naira. And then I actually started using the manual machine.
Nice.
I started using that. I started before I advanced into using the industrial machines.
You've come a long way from training to training people to putting out so many products and also being able to even acquire new machines. So it is quite lucrative, and then there's a market for it there.
Sure, definitely there is a market for it.
That's beautiful.
There is a market, a whole...
Oh, Neoma, this is beautiful, and I congratulate your efforts. There are a couple of items you won't be leaving here with today.
I'm happy about
yeah, thank you very much. I would be picking a couple of them. Thank you. Do you miss corporate jobs? Do you miss that at all?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Especially this morning when I was coming to this place, the traffic was out of it.
Yeah,
I knew I was working on the airline, so
Let's just
I was just so grateful.
That's beautiful. You know, it's fantastic having you here. We love everything that you brought with you. Unfortunately, some are going back with you. We prepared something for you. Okay. And in a minute, I'm going to be bringing you over to the kitchen so you can taste and see our deliciousness. It's something very special. Spring roll, spring. What is it we're having again? But you'll get to find out inside the kitchen something you've never tasted. So let's check out some more of your material here. And when we get back, we're going to be in the kitchen with Neoma. Come over.
It's been a marvelous Monday so far. Yes, Leah Chops has created something for us to chop into today. And it's called shawarma spring roll.
That was it. I forgot what it was called.
Shawarma spring roll.
I hope this oil is not going to splatter on my new bag.
Your new bag? Wow. Mazino, really?
Like,
but it looks amazing, doesn't it?
It does.
So 2 different things there. There's the crepes with banana and peanut butter. Amazing. Then, of course, the spring rolls. Amazing stuff. Chef Leah wants you to have a taste so that you can tell us what you think.
All right, go ahead.
Grand stuff. This is special. I've never seen this done before. Is that banana in the middle?
Yes,
banana and crepe.
The crepe.
Oh, okay.
With peanut butter.
Peanut butter. And then you roll it with the whole banana.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wow. I install this kind of food.
You are not used to anything that is not pounded yam.
Wow.
That's what's up.
This is delicious.
Oh.
Can I try this?
Yes, go ahead. Try it.
Oh, it's all yours. You don't have to ask us.
We
have to beg you to have some.
I'm a big fan of spring roll myself, and everything was made right here in the kitchen from scratch. Nice work, Chef Leah.
Grand.
Alrighty then. The response we're looking for, the smile we're looking for.
The facial expression, it says it all. Thank you very much, Nyama. Good to have you here. You guys, there's lots of stuff there. You guys must make sure that you have one of these or something because she is absolutely fantastic.
It looks amazing.
I'm leaving with this one.
Please.
Going home with this one. It's
so
great.
You already have one of your wallets already has been sold apparently. I'm hearing that almost everything you brought today has already been purchased. All right. And make sure you charge Mazino double for that.
In this economy, stop it though.
We are going to have an amazing week because we know you're going to be right there with us again tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.